everybody, welcome to Don't Copy That Floppy. I'm your host, Lex.
I'm your other host, Dan, and we are weekly video game news podcast, broadcasted to you live on Chipit Radio, chipit.net, and also on Twitch TV.
On Twitch TV. It is Friday, September 2nd. We've got all sorts of really cool video game news for you today. Dan, what is some of that news we're going to talk about?
A whole bunch of Nintendo news, because they had a Nintendo Direct yesterday that I had no idea was happening until I saw news from it later in the day.
I never knew it was happening. I scanned news stories before I came in today.
It was a pretty low-key Direct, but they talked about a lot of little things. We got a little story about Mass Effect, got some story about Konami, just the latest in Konami being jerks, ongoing saga, the Odyssey.
Never not jerks.
Never not jerks. World of Warcraft news, since the Legion expansion came out. We have a little bit of other MMO news related to EVE Online as well.
Oh.
And then just some other little things, some game releases, some upcoming titles, and a little bit of news about PAX West, which is happening right now, although nothing big has come out of it just yet. Unfortunately, we're expecting most of that tomorrow, so you'll hear about it on our next show.
Yeah, that's all going to happen later.
We are chatting live on chipit.net, so you can talk with us on the show, or you can talk with us on Twitch, I guess, too. Twitch has a chat.
Maybe. I'm trying to find our stream to monitor it on Twitch, and I'm having trouble. So we're gonna find out. But what I can tell you right now is that we are on all sorts of social media. You can check us out so many places, that some of which we broadcast and some of which we don't.
It's a lot of places now.
We might want to pare it down a bit.
Yeah, let's get the big four:
Facebook,
Twitter,
YouTube, iTunes.
And iTunes. Is Twitch one of these things now that we should mention?
It probably is.
Wouldn't that be one of the big four now?
Oh my god.
Because we're going to be doing game broadcasts on Twitch too.
Oh my god, it's too much.
Thinking maybe a monthly game broadcast or something like that.
We need to hire a social media manager. We can't do all this.
We don't have money to hire anybody.
But if you go to our Patreon...
Patreon, that's one to mention. If you can donate us some money so we can hire somebody to keep track of all this crap for us.
Disclaimer, that's not one of the milestones.
No, it isn't.
That's not.
Maybe if we start getting oodles of money, we'd get to that point. But it's all just hypothetical at this point. For now, get hyped, because I finally got our Twitch stream working, and games and face cam and everything. We're not doing a face cam for this, because what's the point? But once we're playing some video games on there, you better believe you can get to see our faces.
But let's start off with some of the Nintendo Direct news.
If you're on Twitch, you should be seeing a news story right now from Polygon.
Oh my god.
On August 31st. This is a report about Nintendo NX that it might be region-free. Highlighted it. Apparently Nintendo's next system may lack region locking, which would let you, for anyone who doesn't know what that is at this point, I guess, would allow you to buy and play games from any country. Unlike now, where I believe Nintendo's home consoles, yes, the Wii U, the Wii, and the GameCube were all region locked. So you could only play games if you were in the United States. You had to play NTSC coded games. If you were in Europe, you had to play PAL coded games. And if you were in Japan or Asia, you had to play whatever that is. So this led to a lot of... People have been upset about this over the years, because there are some cool games that come out on Nintendo consoles specifically that never make it outside of Japan. Or I guess Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia area.
Isn't this also true of Sony with PlayStation?
No.
Oh, really?
The PlayStation, at least as of PlayStation 3, is not region locked.
That's interesting.
Neither is the Vita, and neither is the PSP.
Well, Vita means life, so it's not... It's anywhere.
You can't stop life.
No, you can't.
And neither is the PS4, except it's game-specific with those. But there's very few games that are region-locked. Persona 4 Arena was one on PS3 that was region-locked for no good reason, and people were very upset about that. But I've played tons of Japanese games on my Sony systems. And I've even played a Japanese because I bought a little disc that tricked my GameCube into thinking it was a Japanese GameCube.
Oh my god.
And then I could swap it out and swap in my Naruto fighting game.
You horrible pirate.
I just had to play. I bought it. I just had to play that Naruto fighting game. It was pretty fun.
Dan's a criminal.
It was pretty.
That's what I'm learning today.
I'm willing to do anything to get my Naruto fix.
I mean,
who can blame me?
Who can blame you?
So basically, prior to the Nintendo 3DS, the handhelds have been region free. So you could play like imported copies of Mother 3 and things like that are playable compatible hardware, but the 3DS stopped that from being the case. 3DS removed or no, I shouldn't say removed anything, it added region locking.
Okay.
So if you want to play a Japanese game on your 3DS, you have to have a Japanese 3DS. And there are a number of people who have imported those for that purpose. A lot of Monster Hunter players have Japanese 3DSs, so you can get the game like a year ahead of time. Because Monster Hunter is pretty straightforward, so you don't really need to know much Japanese. But if this is true, that's very cool, because I think that region locking is kind of dumb, and there's not really many good reasons for it.
Super annoying.
If someone wants to pay money and play a game that they can't read, let them. Just let them do it. Tons of people on PlayStation 3 actually played Demon's Souls before it was ever supposed to come out in the United States. Because they bought a Taiwanese copy of it, I believe.
Oh my god!
And since it wasn't region locked, they could play it. And since it was a Taiwanese copy, it had an English language option.
Oh.
They beat the system.
They did beat the system. I was gonna say, as long as I'm all for not having region encoding, because you're just encouraging people to learn other languages.
Yeah,
and that's good.
You know, you try a little bit.
Yeah,
learn some katakanas and hiraganas. It'll get you a long way. You'll be like a Japanese first grader. You're so smart.
You're so smart. Smart as a Japanese first grader, which, to be fair, is smarter than an American college grad, I'd say. Or at least on par.
If we're taking like a median.
Yeah.
So the other report on the NX is that it will be using cartridges, not discs.
Oh my god. This has been a rumor for quite a while.
Yes.
And it seemed like a rumor that was pretty much gonna be true, because discs are, for one thing, everyone's phasing discs out anyway and opting for like online downloadable stuff.
The digital age is upon us.
Yeah,
as much as I love my Blu-ray discs.
But cartridges actually seem like the better solution, because instead of going to a system like it seems Sony and Microsoft are marching toward, where you just download everything.
Yes.
With cartridges, you'll be able to hold a ton of data, because now solid-state drives can hold a ton of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got some serious storage space going on now. And think about flash drives and things like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those can hold a ton of data.
Oh, yeah.
And they're tiny.
So tiny. And you can have like other stuff on the disc.
And even 3DS games they're still cartridge games.
Mm-hmm.
They're tiny cartridges, but they're cartridges.
Yeah.
But they have like hold tons of data.
And you're gonna cut down on all those load times?
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Load times are like gravy.
And you won't need to worry about having a crazy good internet connection to get your 60 gigabyte game downloaded.
Yeah.
You could just pop in that cartridge and you're good to go. So I applaud Nintendo for doing this.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, if this is true, I think there are a lot of people who are going to say, oh, cartridge is such a step back in technology, but it's really not.
It's not.
It's just a different option. And I think people may have that mindset because it's been so long since there's been a cartridge-based console. Because what was the last one? Like the N64?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's been a while.
It's been a while.
And this Polygon article here that you're looking at, does state... Nintendo's core fans include small children who might scratch discs but find cartridges tougher to damage. Cartridges also allow games to load faster, like we said, are harder to copy, and can be mass-produced faster than discs.
They are harder to copy. Yep. I didn't think about that, but that's a great way to cut down on piracy.
Absolutely.
That's super smart.
Yeah.
Also, like...
I mean, it's possible to still pirate these games, but
totally.
It's way tougher.
Because you're going to need to get some sort of peripheral hardware so that you can plug them into your computer so that you can...
It turns into a much bigger process than cracking a disk and stealing some ISO files.
Yeah. That's great. And the thing about kids beating up their games is super true.
And then you can play Ball and Kid with all your friends.
And now we're gonna return to the era where we get to blow on cartridges to make them work,
which is apparently not actually good for them.
They'll be fine. Cartridges. So this is important to note, and if you're watching the video stream, you probably already saw this, but Wall Street Journal were the people who reported on this news.
Oh, were they? Oh, yeah, wow. I didn't even notice that little part, because there was a little link there. Well, cool.
Thanks, Wall Street Journal.
I was too distracted by how, if you don't like Suicide Squad, you don't have to worry, because an R-rated edit is sure to happen.
Is there a way that you could do... Is there like a magnify feature so you can zoom in on certain things? Like, just that thumbnail?
I'm sure there is. I don't know how to figure out how to use it right now. I could just use, like, the computer zoom function.
Do it. This is effects. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Look at him go.
Okay, we're gonna get away from
that.
Oh, no,
wow. That did it for every page
for
there, huh?
Yep, no.
Oh, yep. That looks about right. Oh, that's good.
There you
go. We were talking about Nintendo. Nintendo also announced new Amiibo figures. They announced for the Legend of Zelda 30th anniversary, they announced 8-Bit Link, Ocarina of Time Link, playing as Ocarina, Wind Waker Link, and Wind Waker Zelda. All of these... Stop showing me the stream when I zoom in on Jared Leto's big dumb face.
It's so dumb.
Man, that does have a big lag on it. We'll have to remember that.
I'm sorry.
Yes, these Amiibos are coming out. Isn't everyone excited?
These Amiibos look great.
They actually look really good.
Like, the 8-Bit Link one looks really fun.
It's
Toon
awesome.
Link and...
Zelda.
Toon Zelda? Or is it? Yeah, it's Toon
Wind Waker Zelda. And then Ocarina of Time Link over there. They're coming out. It looks as though Link and Zelda Wind Waker ones might be a 2-pack, but it's kind of unclear from the pictures. And
oh my god, I never realized before 8-Bit Link has a cross on his shield.
Is that too hot button an issue for this podcast?
He's a holy warrior, and I didn't even realize it.
He's a god warrior, man.
All of these
Don't get in his way.
These Christian overtones, I didn't even realize Nintendo was putting them in there. This is like Evangelion over here. Jeez.
All the wholesome Christian values in the original Legend of Zelda. Oh yeah? Go into a cave, talk to an old man, just like the Bible.
Just like the Bible. I'm pretty sure that happens in the Bible.
I think that happens like all the time in the Bible. People talk to old men in caves like every other page.
Is Ganondorf Satan?
He could be.
He could be.
He totally could be.
He transforms into like
He's
a
the beast.
horned guy. Yeah. Oh my god. I'm just realizing all these things about Zelda I never knew. My faith is being shaken to its core.
These Amiibo will have the same function as their Smash Brothers counterparts for each respective character. I'm assuming that means that Wind Waker Zelda applies to, like, the Zelda in Smash Brothers, even though they look different. And they will also have special functionality with the next entry in the long-running franchise, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So that's your thing. If you look at these and you say, like, I don't need no 8-Bit Link to play my Smash Bros. I already got the regular Link. But regular Link's not going to do crap for you in Breath of the Wild.
Oh my god.
That's how they get you. Nintendo's got their hooks in you.
Pretty soon you'll have to buy all their cartridges. You won't be able to pirate any of them.
Yeah.
Yep. Nintendo's going to make all the money.
They announced a little eShop game that stole my heart called Tank Troopers, because I like little tanks. And it's going to be like a download title with up to 6-player multiplayer, where you drive around in cute little tanks and blow each other up.
Oh.
And you have special abilities and everything. It's like a real-time strategy action game. Looks really fun. There's no release date or pricing information or anything else about it. They're just like, hey, look at Tank Troopers, isn't that cute? And it looks great. He's like this Mad Max looking guy. And,
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So good.
All these cute little characters. And tanks have like special abilities. They got Splatoon paintballs, electric shocks, freezing powers. All that stuff.
Mario Kart style.
Mario Kart style, yeah, but like slower paced, and there's like hilly battlefields that you get to drive around on. It looks like there's different tanks and different pilots that you can mix and match for abilities and things.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
I'm assuming it's going to be more of like a budget title, like a $20 game or something. That's just a fun little download thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. They talked about a game that apparently was announced during their E3 livestream, but I don't remember it at all. Called Ever Oasis, which is a dungeon crawling RPG were developed by a studio in Japan called Grezzo. And I believe... who's the guy who's, like, working on this? It's somebody, like, really famous. Oh, the guy who did, like, the Mana games back in the day. Koichi Ishii, like, Sword of Mana and, like, Secret of Mana and all that stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So it's a game where you play... You're a little character and you play in this oasis area... And the whole idea is you're in the middle of this vast desert, and traders and merchants come through. Some people settle down in your oasis, others just pass through. And your whole idea is to build your oasis up and make it this big sprawling town, like trading hub. But then there's a dungeon crawling element where you can leave into the desert and fight monsters, and there's like story stuff going on out there. And you can recruit companions of all these different races that also live in this world and have their own special abilities. So, seems kind of cool. If you're looking for a fun little cute RPG, check that out. It's coming out in 2017.
Nintendo, we make fun little cute RPGs.
That's what they do. They announced a new Pikmin game.
Oh, a fun little cute other kind of game.
So they announced this side-scrolling Pikmin game for the 3DS that's coming out in 2017, and it looks really cool.
Is it going to be like Lemmings?
No, it's like Pikmin, just 2D.
Oh, okay.
Like, you get the Pikmin, and you can still throw them, and they all have their abilities and everything. You fight monsters and collect treasure. Like, it just looks like any other Pikmin game, but not three-dimensional.
Wow.
I think that's pretty cool.
That's interesting.
Bill Trinan added that the game is being designed with action in mind. Hey, man, Pikmin's brutal. Those guys die.
Oh, yeah.
They die, like, all the time.
It's fine. They're weird alien creatures.
In that Nintendo Direct, Bill Trinan, he was like, oh man, look at all of Reggie's donuts. There's a big plate of donuts on a table, and they were labeled Reggie's Donuts. This was in the Direct.
Oh my god.
And Bill Trinan was like, man, those donuts look good. And then he, like, saw Reggie's Nintendo DS next to the donuts, and he was like, this is Reggie's DS. He won't want to lose this. I better keep it safe for him. And he puts Reggie's DS in his pocket. And then he picks up the plate of donuts, and he's like, I can't wait to eat all of Reggie's donuts. And then they put him in a box, and he got accidentally sent to Easter Island. And the whole Direct, Reggie's like, where's my goddamn DS and donuts? Where is it? He was like tearing shit up. And then Bill showed up at the end with like a huge beard. And he's like, you guys won't believe where I've been. I had a spiritual experience, and I saw the 2017 3DS lineup.
That's great.
It was like really funny, actually.
Good on Nintendo making this fun live.
They're killing it. Their new president is not a very cheerful man, apparently.
No, he doesn't look like he is.
He doesn't want to be a part of the cheerful, goofy Nintendo Directs.
That's fine. As long as he's not a part of them and making them dour, you know?
Yes.
Because that would be disappointing. But as long as they're still just fun, and he's off to the side doing financial thingies, like calculating stuff on an abacus. I assume that's how they do, you know.
Japan's very behind with their technology when it comes to counting.
It's not behind, Dan. It's discipline. Discipline. The Japanese are all about discipline.
Hey man, say what you want, but they use fax machines over there.
Wait, really?
Oh yeah.
What?
Office buildings in Japan, like, commonly still use fax machines.
Do they have beepers too?
Probably. I don't even know.
Oh my god.
It's weird because we think of Japan as this super high-tech country, and it totally is, but not in a lot of ways you would expect. It's really bizarre, actually. There's still payphones over there, too. Like, all over the place.
Yeah, those were one of the things I wished weren't phased out.
Japans are very nice. Because people don't vandalize them as much.
Thanks,
America.
Because Japanese people are disciplined.
They're respectful of the property that isn't theirs.
Also, they're elders.
Yes. Yoshi's Woolly World. I've been sitting on this article for a while now. Look at this cute little Yoshi, Woolly Yoshi. Is getting 3DS is getting those sloppy seconds.
Oh,
this Destructoid. It's a Destructoid article.
Oh, that's why they. Yeah.
Yoshi's Woolly World's going to 3DS early 2017, February 3rd specifically, and they are also releasing little stop motion animated shorts about Yoshi and Poochie. Not the Poochie from The Simpsons.
No, the Poochie from the Yoshi.
The little Poochie. Yeah, that little Poochie. You can kind of see him over here. And they're also releasing a Poochie yarn amiibo that is super adorable and will come bundled with the game if you pre-order it. So if you want the cutest amiibo ever made, then you should pre-order this game. They also announced Miitopia, which this person on Destructoid said sounds like actual hell.
I mean, probably.
So there's no real specifics on this game. It's got a sword in the logo and like helmets and stuff, so I'm assuming it's some sort of RPG.
I guess, for your Miis? Your Miis go on a dungeon crawl.
Yeah.
They get killed by a Mii-style dragon.
Well, there's already a Mii, like, RPG game built into, like, 3DS Street Pass.
Oh, is there?
Speaking of, they also announced that Street Pass is getting updated, so now instead of only having 10 people active at once on your Street Pass, you can have up to 100.
Whoa, that's a big change.
Which is ridiculous, and I'm super mad at them that they did that after I got back from Japan. Because, oh my god, I would have gotten so many Street Passes.
Yeah.
Damn it, Nintendo.
That seems just like a move, I guess, for Japan, but also for, like, conventions.
Yeah,
because that's when people use that a lot.
Because then you don't have to check your DS all the time, because it used to cap out at 10, and you'd have to go through them to get more. But now you don't, and they also have an option where you can speed up all the menus in Street Pass, so you can get through, like, hey, my name is so-and-so from here, like, way faster. And just do it. This game is not a mobile game. Oh, look at that horrifying me. Oh my god.
Wow.
So scary. And that's about all we know.
Oh, okay.
And it's a console release, apparently, as well. On 3DS. Pokemon Sun and Moon. Rattata has an Alola form. He is dark normal type, and he looks like a little bandito. Snorlax is also in the game, as is Munchlax. If you pre-order the game, you get a Munchlax carrying special item that lets him unleash his true demonic spirit.
Oh my god, it's horrifying.
So this video shows, apparently there's these new moves called Z-moves. You can get these items and have your Pokemon hold them, and it lets them do like super attacks, a la like a fighting game, kind of. And it's mostly type-based, so you can get ones for like electric Pokemon, and it'll just make them do a super electric attack. But there are some that are specific to Pokemon, and Snorlax has one of those. So he does his move, Punishing Pancake, Pulverizing Pancake.
Still funny.
And the video that unveiled this was amazing, because it just shows all the past games Snorlax and says, after 20 years of sleeping, Snorlax finally wakes up. And then he opens his eyes, and just demonic fire shoots out. And he just goes into, like, nuclear belly flops this poor other Pokemon. It's brutal, man.
Brutal.
So brutal. Snorlax can do it when he wants to. All this Nintendo stuff segues nicely into our voter story.
Yeah.
For this week.
So
take us into
this is an article that we got off The Verge from August 30th, and it is a little game that was made that is a mashup between No Man's Sky and Super Mario Brothers.
This baffles me.
It is adorable, but no, it's No Mario Sky,
creatively named,
and it pretty much just plays like Mario, except the levels are all like.
They're round.
Yeah, they're round.
They're Odin Sphere levels.
Yeah, so you're wandering around a planet.
Yeah.
And like some of the different textures are reminiscent more of the No Man's Sky planet textures. Although they're all still very much like 8-bit Mario style stuff. And then when you go to another level, instead of hopping down a tube or whatever Mario does, I don't know what he does.
He gets in a spaceship.
He gets in a spaceship. And then you fly to a different planet, and the next level is just a different planet.
Are these levels procedurally generated?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it doesn't say here if it is or not.
I don't think it is.
It's probably not.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
It may not play much like its namesake or be nearly as ambitious, but in some ways it captures the true spirit of No Man's Sky.
In some ways.
In some ways.
So this is...
Is this just, like, freely available?
It was.
I mean, it might not be for long.
But I don't think it's going to be for long, and this story is from, 3 days ago, so this might already be down, but I recommend going and looking for it, because it definitely won't be up much longer.
Yeah. So go check that out. We also have a No Man's Sky update. I posted to Facebook a story this past week about No Man's Sky wiping your discoveries after 2 weeks. Originally, it said, this was from a post on Reddit, I believe, from a user who went back to a system that he had been in before in the game, like 2 weeks after being in that system. to find that all of his named discoveries besides the system and the planets had been deleted from the game. So all of his named animals were gone and plants and all that stuff. And I posted this kind of like, this isn't good. This is bad. Because that's what this whole game is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Is discovery and exploring and all that.
Kind of the cornerstone of the game.
Right.
But
fortunately, an update from August 27th revealed that the user who first discovered that updated his post to reveal that re-downloading and reloading the game several times, his discoveries finally reappeared. He believes it may have been a server bug that caused the issue. So there is not a problem. Either that or somebody from Hello Games is holding a gun to his head while he types this. But that's good news. It's good news for players because it means the things you're discovering in No Man's Sky still count.
Yep.
And it's good news for Hello Games and Sony because it means that this is not just another red mark on the whole No Man's Sky situation for them right now. Because I think they're still dealing with a ton of fallout. There have been a bunch of articles of people trying to get around Sony and Valve's refund policies to get refunds on No Man's Sky.
Oh yeah, there was weird stuff about how like on what was it, Steam?
Yeah.
People were getting refunds after they had played for many, many hours.
Yes.
And people were quick to point out that Steam's refund policy says that you have to play the game for only a couple of hours and have it for a certain number of days. But if you like specifically contact them, they can make exceptions.
Yes.
And apparently
they
some people
had a lot.
Yeah, they got contacted a lot. They let some exceptions slide, and then I bet they wish they didn't, because then everybody started doing that because it started getting reported on.
Right. And then they have since gone on to Steam and added a little disclaimer to the No Man's Sky page that said the Steam refund policy applies to No Man's Sky as normal. No exceptions will be made.
Yeah. Because you try to abuse the system.
It's not going to happen anymore.
Steam was just trying to be nice. You just had to mess with them.
Well,
disappointment.
So,
hey, speaking of space, there was some other space news.
Space news.
So there was an interview with Peter Moore, the head of EA.
Yep.
About
Mass Effect.
About Mass Effect. This is an interview that IGN did, and in the article that we're going to be looking at from Game Rant, they do link that video, which if you're watching live, you could see. Oh my god. But it's like an hour and a half long.
I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it.
No, don't do it.
I'm a crazy person.
Oh, Dan.
It's not working.
It's not loaded right. But no, so this is they were asking him about the Mass Effect remasters.
Yeah.
And he was saying, Mass Effect remasters? Why would we ever make those? And my response is, because you're EA, you dummy.
Yeah.
Of course you want to make
the money.
that. You love it.
You don't even pretend like you don't love money. Don't even pretend that, EA.
EA, you make a Madden game every year because you love the money.
You still made one. Was there one this year?
I'm sure
there must have been one this year.
There is every year.
They're still making.
If Joe Madden dies, will they keep making Madden games?
John Madden.
Oh, whatever.
Joe Madden.
Who cares? Football.
You're thinking of Joe Mad.
Oh, who's that?
He's that comic book artist.
Oh, that guy's great.
Yeah. You know the art for Darksiders and stuff?
Yeah.
He's kind of like Todd McFarlane, but like cooler.
Oh no.
Oh, shots fired.
Shots fired. No,
have I talked about how much I love Spawn?
Got 50 copies of Spawn #1. Gonna be a millionaire.
I mean, some stuff in Spawn's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But some stuff's not.
But, okay, so anyway,
we'll talk about that this month on the special bonus content.
Which you could get by paying us on Patreon.
How much money do you need to give for that?
I think you need to give $10 or more.
Yep. Trust me, it's worth it.
Oh, it's worth it.
Even if you are just like, ooh, I wonder what they're going to talk about this month. You give $10 just for that month. Get it? You won't be disappointed. I promise.
But no, so Peter Moore was saying like, hey, we don't want to remaster these Mass Effect games because instead we want to make Andromeda Plus, we want to make new IPs.
Oh, yes. I have heard they are making this Andromeda game.
Someday they may finish it. So let's go through some quotes here. If you could scroll up a little bit.
Yes, sir.
There you go. There's quotes. We're a company that is focused on delivering for the future. I was asked a question once about remasters, and I said, it's not what we do. Yeah, sure. We've got incredibly talented dev studios around the world who are focused on delivering new IP, new experiences, and more live services.
That's why we keep making sequels.
Exactly. We could make an easy buck. Can we make an easy buck on remastering Mass Effect? Yes. Well, yeah. Have 1,000 people asked me that? Yes, they have. Exactly 1,000. We just feel like we want to go forward. There's a little thing called Mass Effect Andromeda that we're totally focused on at BioWare, and it's going to be magnificent.
It's going to be magnificent, you guys.
Well, you can't say he doesn't have charisma.
Yeah,
he's got
his business talk down.
Yeah,
he knows how to do the ask a question then answer it thing. People love that.
People do love that.
It's in Zootopia. It's great. Everybody loves it. They can't get enough.
That's so true. Can we make an easy buck on remastering Mass Effect?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Oh my!
Have I been asked that by 1,000 people? Yes. Yes, I have. It's so it reels people in. It makes them so interested in what you're saying.
Oh, geez, Peter Moore, you're taking your cues from Zootopia. I mean, at least you're not taking your cues from the Angry Birds movie. So
yeah, the better animated movie of the year for sure. He should take his cues from Kubo and the Two Strings.
Oh,
and just be like, we could remaster Mass Effect, but everybody dies eventually. So what's the point? At least we'll old Mass Effect games.
So yeah, no, I call BS on this.
Yeah,
I don't know what you think.
You think they're gonna do it?
They're gonna make the remasters. They're probably they're not far enough along in the dev cycle of the remasters to want to officially announce them.
They're gonna come out after or at the same time as Andromeda.
Yeah, you know what they'll probably do, because I don't know if Andromeda has it's a set release date.
2017, I think. March 2017.
Okay, well that's closer than it has been.
Yeah.
But I assume, when Andromeda releases, or when they announce
next year, or something.
Or when they announce an official date for it,
at
that same time they will tell you about the remasters.
Because the thing is, it's never too late for these remasters to get announced. It's just not. The BioShock collection just became a thing, and those games came out a long ass time ago. Aside from Infinite, but even Infinite came out a few years ago at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So Peter Moore, you're lying to us, but hey, at least you're lying to us in a way that we enjoy. Because you're like, listen, new IPs, that's what I'm all about. And I'm like, I'll take those honeyed words from you, Peter Moore.
Not like those jerks at Konami.
Ugh. They wouldn't know what honey was if they were slathered in it.
As somebody who played Metal Gear Solid 5, I contest the title of this article, which is this Polygon article from the 31st, entitled, Konami says MGS5's ending isn't missing, so everyone can calm down about it. Just calm down, you guys. The game has an ending. You know what I say to that? Bullplop. That game doesn't have an ending. Some stuff happens and then the credits roll. And tons of plot threads are left unresolved. And they say, no, you guys, you don't understand. There's many threads that continue in Metal Gear and subsequent games. You know what one thread that doesn't continue in Metal Gear and subsequent games is? The main plot thread that wasn't addressed because they didn't put in Mission 51, which is specifically what everyone's mad about. That plot thread doesn't get wrapped up at all. Beyond in half-finished cutscenes you got in the special edition. So, basically, what people consider the true ending of this game was Mission 51, which was cut content from the game. There were videos of it on the special edition Blu-ray that came with the big game special edition. And a bunch of people are like, hey, you guys, hey, Konami, the game's not really done. There's not really an ending because there's no Mission 51. Are you going to make Mission 51? And Konami's like, no, the game's finished. We're not making Mission 51 and the game's done. Deal with it. Which is unsurprising that that's their answer. But it's one of those things where it's just people are already mad at you guys. Can't you just admit that the game is unfinished and apologize and move on with it?
Yeah, there are so many things that if Konami just said, yeah, our bad, that it would be, like, it still wouldn't make it right, but it would be a step toward decent PR.
I think it's the reason people are so riled up is because we keep getting it thrown back in our faces by them. Or with this game specifically. This is also in light of, on October 11th, the Phantom Pain and its prologue Ground Zeroes are being collected on a disc called MGS5 The Definitive Experience. So a bunch of people are like, oh, is it going to include, like, cut content from MGS5? Because maybe it would, because it's like a director's cut or something, even though the director's not at Konami anymore. But Konami has said, like, no, it's just the games. That's all it is.
Just the games.
Yeah, it's just them as they were.
Just the bits, ma'am.
Just the bits, sir. So that's that. If you were hoping for more from MGS5 from that definitive collection, you will not be getting it.
Yeah, you were hoping for it. You're kind of a silly goose.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be hoping for that. You know you're not going to get it.
No. I kind of wonder who this definitive collection is for. Because almost everybody who had any interest in this already has Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, or has heard that Phantom Pain's not that great by this point, and wouldn't really care that much.
It's for print money.
I mean, I guess.
I think that's the only reason for it.
I mean, it's an easy, like, release for them. They just lump them on a disc, and there you go.
Yep.
That's true. Fair enough. Speaking of easy money... World of Warcraft.
Oh my god, Blizzard did something right. Not to say they don't usually do stuff right. They actually do stuff right more often than they don't. But there's an article from Polygon from the 30th entitled World of Warcraft may have just had its best expansion launch ever.
Best expansion ever.
Now that nobody cares about World of Warcraft anymore, they finally figured out how to do an expansion launch. So, you know, it only took them a decade.
So this was... This is an article from August 30th, which is regarding the launch of the expansion, which the person writing this article was playing when the expansion went live.
Yes.
And apparently it all just kind of, like, happened.
It worked.
Like, all the people who are at the level cap, their experience bars reappeared, they got their little quest line to take them into the new expansion started, and it all just worked.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, isn't it supposed to? Well, yes, they're all supposed to.
I can see you've never played an MMO before.
They're always supposed to, but like this kind of launch is actually super rare.
Yes.
Usually you get all sorts of server crashes because the servers get overloaded with tons of people being like, oh my gosh, new expansion, I gotta play it right now!
Because you have all the current players who are now hopping on the new thing, plus you have all these returning players who are jumping back into it. First chance they get.
And then all those players are concentrated in one place.
Yes, because they have to be in the areas where the expansion takes place. One thing that this article goes into that I think is interesting is that in this expansion there are artifact weapons for every class, but not only every class, every specialization of every class.
Yeah.
So the opening quest line of this expansion is getting your class and specialization's artifact weapon. These quests take you to multiple places all over the game world, and it seems as though each quest line is different.
Yeah.
It takes you to different places.
Yeah, this is super interesting. So, even though they made these new zones for, I forget what it's called,
Legion.
some island. Yeah.
Or, for the Maelstrom areas?
Yeah, the island chain, I forget its exact name, but...
Yeah, it's near the Maelstrom.
Yeah, whatever.
It's a big whirlpool in the middle of the world, Nazaroth.
Yeah.
You know it.
It's always been there.
Up on your Warcraft lore.
It was like...
Nagas and shit.
It was the ocean, but then it got corrupted.
Yeah, it got corrupted.
So...
For real?
No, that's actually what happened.
Nagas!
But yeah, on this... so even though they made these new zones, because a lot of the quests do not have you running through those zones, they have you go to other zones in the game world that have already existed, it cuts way down on all the crowding, so then everybody isn't in the same place.
Right. It's really smart, actually.
It's super smart.
Like, because you completely alleviate that congestion that usually comes with an expansion by just doing this thing.
And because, like you said, there's different weapons for, like, the class specializations.
Right.
everyone's splintering into all these tiny groups.
Right.
So there are no, like, all the mages are not just going to go to this one place in the game.
Yeah, it's not just a big mage boogaloo down in Dalaran. Like...
Because that could also cause server issues.
Right. No, it's from the sound of it, bless you, sir.
Oh, goodness.
From the sound of it, it's the fire mages, specifically, who have to go to Dalaran and then Icecrown Citadel.
It's cold there, why would fire mage go there?
Then they gotta burn it. They gotta prove how cool they are with their fire.
Oh my god.
So, that's very neat. It also means that probably certain classes that have overlap with that, like there's probably more of a class mix, because like you said, it's not all mages, but I'd be willing to bet there's other classes that need to go to Icecrown for their stuff, so you still get a nice mix of classes around these different areas. Like, you're not just seeing all of one thing everywhere. I could be wrong about that, but I would imagine that that's kind of how it works.
Now, one thing I want to say about this story, if you're going to go and check it out, and I think it's worth checking out, especially because if you're a really big WoW fan and you were wondering about getting Legion, this does have the first hour of gameplay of the expansion. Yes. The only thing that I would say about this is it is clearly written by someone who is a hardcore WoW fan.
This person really likes World of Warcraft.
And their bias shows in the writing.
Absolutely.
So it's not a completely unbiased account. No. Keep that in mind.
But from what we're hearing from it, it still seems cool.
Oh, it definitely does.
And based on my experience playing WoW and the expansion launches I went through, those didn't work.
Yeah.
Those were a mess.
Now, one of the things we don't know about Legion is how many players it attracted.
Yes. There's no numbers on that yet.
And in the coming weeks, we will probably get that. Hopefully get that. And then we'll know, because one of the reasons why this launch may have gone off without a hitch is because there are just way less people playing, so there's just way less server strain.
At the same time, they did cut down the number of servers available recently.
They did, yeah.
So
we're gonna find out just how popular this launch was. So I think the article title being like "Best Launch Ever" is kind of premature.
Smoothest launch?
Yes.
Maybe not best, but smoothest. Least shitty launch.
Approved.
Let's go with that. Because Burning Crusade was a mess. The launch of Burning Crusade was like, oof. That was rough. And Wrath of the Lich King was also pretty bad. Cataclysm, which was the last one I played, I didn't feel like the launch of that was terrible. I definitely had some glitches in like the Goblin starting zone, but generally speaking, it wasn't that bad. Yeah. So good for you, World of Warcraft. The developers of World of Warcraft have also said that you don't have to worry, everybody, because Legion is not the last threat to Azeroth. They have plenty of bad guys left. To which I said, no you don't! He's going to beat up Sargeras at the end of this, and he's the last one.
He is the last one.
And as far as I'm concerned, he's the last one. They'd be like, no, but we introduced all this stuff. I'm like, no, you didn't. That's not Warcraft lore. You made that up. I don't care that you're the writers of Warcraft. You made that up. It's not canon.
I mean, they can add more.
No, they can't. I'm not allowed.
Well, I'm just saying that, like, if they really wanted to add, like, new and interesting, like, major story arcs...
Well, they already have added a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
through World of Warcraft.
Sort of.
I mean, they added all the Pandarian mythos stuff, which I agree is, like, ugh. And villains on that side. They've added more about the old gods. That came out in Wrath of the Lich King a bit. You fight, like, a big Cthulhu monster guy. So they could do more with that, and that's actually kind of what they talk about in this article. And the Titans, I guess. But Sargeras is like he's a corrupted Titan. He got corrupted. And I would assume he's going to be the final raid boss for Legion. Because he's the leader of the Burning Legion.
I mean, if he wasn't, I'd be a little confused.
Yeah, it kind of it makes sense.
No, it's Illidan. Illidan is the last boss.
No.
Just because he's been in all the advertising doesn't mean he's the last boss.
It's just because he's back and Illidan sells copies. Put Illidan on it and people will buy it. How handsome
he is. It's great.
He's a jerk.
He is a jerk, but he's still handsome. Those things are not mutually exclusive. If Hollywood has taught me anything.
The epic love triangle that was Illidan, Malfurion, and Tyrande Whisperwind. Are you Team Illidan or Team Malfurion?
Oh, I'm Team Illidan all the way.
No, Malfurion for life.
No way.
Illidan's a jerk.
Malfurion is just, he's so straight-laced.
Nah, he knows what's up. He knows what's up. He knows it's not cool to be a demon. You're just an edgelord.
It's so cool.
I know that Tehran, kind of was into it. But that's just, she's going through a bad boy phase.
For
Night Elf's got it bad.
For more WoW lore, listen to our bonus content. That's not true. I really don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to do a whole bonus thing about WoW lore.
No.
That's terrible.
It's never going to happen.
So yeah, because they already did the Lich King and all that stuff, and this is an interesting article actually on Polygon because they do talk about their process for deciding what villains to utilize in various expansions. Because Wrath of the Lich King, obviously you gotta have the Lich King at the end of there. Ner'zhul's gotta be at the end of that. If he's not, that's a super bummer. So, but they talk about how it's oh, he's so iconic. Are we really going to do the Lich King? Do we really want to shoot that bullet? What are we going to do after the Lich King? Etc., etc. But he's saying right now it's time to fight the Burning Legion. That's been dangling over their heads for a long time, so we're just going to do that. And if we need to go from there, we got old gods and titans and all sorts of other stuff.
They'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. They've been figuring it out this whole time already, so whatever.
Yeah.
They do mention something interesting, too, that at the start of Cataclysm, or, excuse me, the Pandaria expansion, Garrosh Hellscream was a good guy. He was kind of a jerk, but he was a good guy. And they actually evolved him into a villain over the course of that expansion's patches.
Oh.
So they are not averse to creating new villains live, almost, as the game is updated. And story quests come out, which is kind of cool. That there is that idea of narrative within World of Warcraft. And that's always been there, but they've definitely been bringing it out more in the recent expansions. So good on them for that. Especially after Warlords of Draenor was kind of
Shouldn't have played around with the timeline. It's always a bad idea.
It's a terrible idea. That was the worst. MMO news related to that. EVE Online is going free to play.
We never thought it would happen.
I really didn't think this would happen. Later this year, EVE Online will be going free to play. The developer CCP is shifting the subscription model more than 13 years after the game's original launch. So they've been pay to play for a really long time. I actually paid to play this game for a couple months, and had some fun with it. The way they're doing this is by introducing 2 different player states. You can be an alpha player, which is for free accounts, and it basically means your character is able to train and use a specific set of skills. So you have an upper limit of what you can do, but you gain experience at a lowered rate, so you'll get to that cap slower as well. But you have access to the same trading, industry, and exploration in the game as everybody else. Meanwhile, people who pay get Omega characters, which function like every EVE Online account currently functions. The main perks being unlimited skill progression and much faster skill training. Any account can be upgraded at any time, from an Alpha to Omega. No progress will be lost or require starting over. And if you have an Omega account that reverts to Alpha when you pull your subscription, you will also maintain all of your status. Although it may cap you out where you would be at with an Alpha account until you start paying again or something. They don't really go into that. They say that they know mandatory monthly subscription is a big barrier for new players. It's also one of the most common cancellation reasons for those who leave EVE. At the same time, it was very much designed as a subscription game from the start and has been a challenge to find a way to change that without also messing with the fundamentals that we really love. So I think this is kind of cool news.
Yeah.
Because it'll bring a lot of people in to try out EVE Online and maybe attract some players it would not have otherwise attracted. I might check it out again, since it's not going to cost anything. So, why not?
Yeah.
That would be an exciting game for us to stream on Twitch.
Exciting.
So exciting.
Mining asteroids.
Mining asteroids. If I wait 20 more minutes, my skill will rank up. I guess I'll just sit here. Final Fantasy XV's open world that we've seen in all these previews will allegedly become linear halfway through the game.
Great. Great. One of the only positive things this game had going for it.
In a bold move, opposite Final Fantasy XIII, which started out severely linear and then sort of opened up about 2/3 of the way through. They're doing just the opposite. So yeah, apparently they say here it'll get narrower. This is from Hajime Tabata talking to Famitsu Magazine in Japan. They had a big section on FF15 in here. Tabata says the first half keeps going as an open world, but the story in the second half is led by a linear path. That way you won't get bored of the open world as the rest of the game tightens up, so we made it in a way that you'll also get to advance through it as you have in conventional Final Fantasy games. I don't think this is a bad thing necessarily if they actually want to tell a compelling story.
Yeah.
Because it can be hard to do a compelling story in open world.
Oh, totally.
It can be very challenging.
The thing is, though, what this sounds like to me, and knowing all the other news about Final Fantasy 15 and the production of it, this sounds like more of this game was originally something else, and then we shifted around the people who were making it and took a really long time with it, and now it has transformed, so it's gonna play like a hodgepodge of things.
Which is a worry.
Yeah. And this just seems to be like, oh no, because we did it because of the narrative. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense, but it also seems like you did it because you needed to wrap up development.
Yeah. The real question with that, too, is when this game comes out, will the story be good?
Probably not.
Because I feel like that's a relevant criticism here, too. It's like, oh, but we wanted to focus on the narrative. But if the narrative is bad, then it's like, well, what the hell were you doing?
No, I worry about this game so much. Every piece of news makes me worry about it.
It's going to be a real touch and go.
And it's going to be super expensive, as we learned.
Yeah, if you want to get that holiday pack, which I know you do.
All those outfits, those holiday outfits.
We have time to talk about this story.
Oh, this story is great.
It's great if you mean like it's really stupid.
Yes. That's what I mean.
So from Thursday, September 1st, on VG 24/7, British Telecom is suing Valve over Steam being Steam.
Yes.
So why don't you clarify this?
So this is a patent lawsuit. Basically, British Telecom is saying, hey, we have patents on all this stuff that this company is utilizing, so we're suing them because they're making stuff that we have claim to.
Yeah.
Now that would seem reasonable to you until you actually look into what these patents are.
Oh my god, this is like the broadest stuff.
It's insanity. Also, British Telecommunications have a huge history of doing this.
I have heard that.
Dating back, like, I think as far as, like, the 70s.
Yeah.
Because British Telecom, I mean, they're a huge company, but their whole claim to fame was they made, like, the telegraph or something? So they haven't actually been on the cutting edge of relevant technology for, like, 100 years. So
let's find out.
Yeah. So although they are a big multimedia company and they're certainly like making a lot of money, it seems like they spend a lot of their time throwing around their weight in legal disputes to try and milk money out of other people.
They installed the first telephone in Britain.
Wow.
Alexander Graham Bell. Oh my god.
Oh my god. 1879.
Yep.
So the patents that they're referring to here, and I think we have some quotes.
We have providing users with content that originates from multiple subscription services and delivering it through a single portal where a customer may access content for which it has access rights.
Yeah.
So you mean any cable television package?
Yep.
Or Hulu? Or Netflix? Or any of these things.
There's also the Newton patent.
Yep.
Which pertains to the delivery of messages containing, quote, information and data.
So all messages, ever.
Yes, messages are stored as files at a server for retrieval by the intended clients.
So a computer.
Yes. Each client transmits requests for messages to the server at automatic and periodic intervals.
So a computer intranet.
Email.
Email.
The suit ads referring to the tech used in Steam chat. So they're trying to go after Steam chat with this.
Then go after Facebook chat.
Go after any chat.
Any chat. Go after chipbit.net chat.
Don't do that. We're on there. We're on there right now. You can chat with us. British Telecom. Oh my gosh, Chipbit is based in Britain. Based in the UK. I'm worried now.
EFF OFF TELECOM. Get out of our face. But seriously, it's ridiculous. This is like the broadest lawsuit.
It's crazy.
If this doesn't get thrown out as frivolous, I will be shocked.
Well, here's the thing. The other thing British Telecom has a history of is a lot of their lawsuits being thrown out as frivolous by a lot of different judges around.
Yeah.
But I guess that they win enough of them, or they settle enough of them out of court, that it's still lucrative enough for them to keep filing
just poking
lawsuits.
And prodding at everything they find that they feel like could make them money.
It just seems like a case of a really old company that got its hands on these patents that would never be issued today because they're so freaking broad.
Yeah.
But they got them at a time when
they were not broad at all.
Yeah, because like that technology didn't really exist yet. Yeah. So, and they really need to be taken away from them, or at least redefined. Just redefine the patents so that they're specific, and we'd be fine. So we're almost at time, so we should probably talk about the games coming out this week. We don't need to talk about that. Don't worry about it. It's on social media. It's fine.
We're going to be talking about PAX West next week.
Yeah.
We had a little story about like stuff that's going to be there, but you can just look forward to next week. We'll talk about
Amy Hennig is going to do the keynote, which I'm really interested to watch.
Amy Hennig has got a lot of groundswell recently.
Oh, yeah. No, she's very talented. I mean, for those who don't know, she's responsible for the Uncharted series, basically, and she's working on the new
EA Star Wars.
Yeah, the Star Wars IP that they haven't really announced yet. That might be like, what is it, 1313? Like sort of the reimagining of that. Or at least that's what people are hoping. So we're all very excited.
There's going to be a Gearbox panel. Maybe our buddy Randy Pitchford will be there.
Oh. I wish I was there so I could throw eggs at him.
Hey Randy, suck eggs! Look out, she's got an egg! And then Randy Pitchford recoils holding his copy of Borderlands.
My baby!
Oh, my sweet baby.
But yeah, so what is coming out this week and next week?
What just came out? The Attack on Titan game by Koei Tecmo came out. Hatsune Miku Project Diva X on PS4 and the Vita. 2 God Eater games on PC. Resident Evil 4 for PS4 and Xbox One. World of Warcraft Legion came out, as we talked about. One Piece Burning Blood on PC. And upcoming in the next week, we have some computer game called Mother Russia Bleeds.
Ooh.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of other stuff. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice.
Oh, that's on the 8th.
Comes out on the 8th.
For the 3DS.
That game's been getting really good reviews, actually.
Oh, good.
It's like a return to form for Phoenix Wright. That's pretty much it, actually. There's not a whole lot. There's a few things coming out, but nothing, like, big. A lot of these are, like, indie titles and stuff. Or just, like, little arcade games.
Ooh, Oceanhorn, I really like their logo.
It looks like Spelunky.
It does. I think that's good. I like that graphic design.
Yeah. Mother Russia Bleeds. What about that?
Okay, it's a little on the nose. This logo is a little on the nose.
It's a beat-em-up video game by France-based indie dev studio Le Cartel.
They're not even Russian-based?
Le Cartel.
Come on. Russians can make their own video games. Jeez.
Yeah, you're France.
Get out of here. Go gag to Ubisoft. Go make some Ubisoft games.
Go work on Assassin's Creed. That's it.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
so
talked about everything.
So we have been Don't Copy That Floppy. We were broadcasting live every Friday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.chipbit.net.
And Twitch.
And on Twitch now. You can check out our show archives on such places as chipbit.net. Also on iTunes and on YouTube. On iTunes, if you want to go on there, leave a rate and review. We'd super appreciate that. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
But also, we're on other social media. We're on stuff like Facebook. We're on stuff like Twitter. We're on stuff like Steam. And I said the other ones, so that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
If you want to support the show, which we would greatly appreciate, you can check us out on Patreon.
Yeah.
There are all sorts of great support tiers. You can get things like the ability to vote on stories that we cover on the show during the week. You can also get bonus content. If you pay an exorbitant amount of money, you get sexy voicemails.
Yeah, you can craft that yourself.
You get to write the script.
Yeah.
And we'll say it.
Request one or both of us to be a part of it.
Let's be honest, Dan. They're just going to request you. Because you've got way more animal magnetism than I could ever hope to have.
I think you have more fans than you think.
But
don't sell yourself short, man.
Yeah, so if you would support us on Patreon, we would love that. That would be amazing. So please consider doing so. And was there anything else we need to talk about?
That's pretty much it.
Oh,
no?
On Chip It, there are other shows which you should check out. So there's Remix Mondays, which is chiptune music that remixes on Mondays. That's when it broadcasts. And then there's also the Inner Geek podcast, which is one that I do with my friend Andy, and it's primarily about comic books and sort of comic book related stuff.
Yeah, so movies and things that are on the way out.
Now that's not live, that's just recorded and put up, but it's usually up on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So check that out. Support the other stuff on Chip It. Chip It is super awesome for hosting us, so definitely
look forward to our inaugural Twitch game stream.
Oh my god!
Which we've got to start thinking about now that it's up and running.
We're gonna be talking about social media, so keep your eyes and ears peeled.
And we'll mention it on the whatever show ends up being like before it too. We'll specifically say like, "Hey, this is happening. Here's the times.
Check it out."
We said at the same time.
Yo, what else we gotta say at the same time?
Our usual thing. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready too.
No, we couldn't do it.
I panicked.
Until next time, everyone, remember,
don't copy that floppy. That was way better.